Hey, what's going on everybody? Shmoop here, giving you this build. So we're doing all Stasis today. We're going to go with Winter's Wrath for the super, only super we have. I prefer Healing Rift, but whichever one works for you is perfectly adequate. I also prefer Burst Glide for this because when using Burst Glide, you can kind of dodge in and out of combat a little bit better. Again, not mandatory. Penumbral Blast, the melee. It's not a huge part of this build, but it works out in the end, just a little bit of help, but it's not the main focus. One of the biggest must-haves for this is the Glacier Grenade. It's been buffed, has a shorter cooldown, and it's just great for the way that it synergizes with this class. For aspects, we are using Ice Flare Bolts, so we can just keep chaining Freeze, and Frost Pulse to help get us out of dodge and freeze more targets if we get rushed. Great little thing. We are not using Bleak Watcher for this build because it is not about that, it's about Shatter, and we are not using Glacial Harvest because it's just not really needed. For the fragments here, we are using Whisperer Rending, so our primary, which is our exotic and our only weapon for this challenge, will be doing more damage to frozen and crystals. We are doing Fissures, that way when we destroy a stasis crystal or defeat a frozen target, we get more damage out of that. Refraction, so that when we defeat any frozen or slowed targets, we get class ability. And Shards, that way when we shatter it, it gives us more grenade energy back for a longer duration and basically drastically increases it. You can swap out the refraction or the rending, I would say, if you're really in high-end content. Whisper of Chains, so while you're near a frozen target or a crystal, you take reduced damage. So that's a great one if you're in higher end content. For our exotic primary of choice, we're doing the Verglass Curve. Hail Barrage, if you get it up to ×5 and you freeze multiple targets, or if you put it at a boss's feet, will do massive shatter damage to them. And Hailstorm, obviously, you get kills, it builds up the Hail Barrage, you release the Hail Barrage with the hip fire, boom, said and done. The Catalyst is amazing, but you don't necessarily need it. It just gives you a faster draw time. For the exotic, we're using Beliador's Wrath Reavers. I can't even say that. Oh my god, that is hard to say. Essentially, when you shatter with your super, it does double the damage with that shatter. So free shatter bonus damage. Now going into our mods here. For the helmet, using a Harmonic Siphon, a targeting, just because I feel like this bow isn't the accurate, like it misses sometimes and I don't know why. And Dynamo, just get more super when using your class ability next to targets. We are using double detonation, so you get class ability back when you do damage with a grenade, and when you freeze and shatter that grenade crystal, it does count. Just sometimes, depending on if the target shatters first, it won't count. It's a little weird. And then a harmonic loader to increase the reload speed of the bow so you can get back in the action a little bit faster. For the chest, it's whatever DR you want to run, you know, Solar Void, whatever, it doesn't really matter. For your boots, I am recommending double Stasis Surge just because it's gonna help your weapon shatter and do more damage. And then one better already. And the reason for this is the only other way to trigger health regen in this. That's the one thing this is kind of lacking as a subclass, but it works out alright. For the class item, we're using Double Bomber to reduce your grenade cooldown when using the class ability. It can sometimes help you get that last little chunk you're missing. And lastly, Time Dilation to increase the armor charge. There are only 3 artifact mods that are, I would say, a must. The first is Dragon's Bite, so if you break a shield with stasis, they can freeze. The next one is Pillar of Ice, so defeating an encased combatant spawns another crystal, which for this is amazing. And lastly, shattering an encased target does more damage, and it shoots out little slowing projectiles that are very similar to the Bleak Watcher, but it only shoots one of them. It's not going to freeze them, but it is going to slow them and let you kind of build up to that. So yeah, next is the solo attempt, and I hope y'all enjoy. Alright, so here we go. Grasp of Avarice solo clear, using only Stasis and only the Verglass Curve. No special, no heavy. I'm going to do a lot of cutting in this one because this took me over 2 hours to do. There was a lot of things that I had to like learn and get used to on this. So I'm just going to throw in like the first part of the encounter up to like the boss damage phase, then a boss damage rotation, and then I'm just going to go to the end to where you actually see me killing the boss. That way you're not sitting there for 30 minutes watching the same thing like over and over again. And again, sorry, I needed to get this video out, but I'm still recovering from like a head cold, so it's kind of hard for me to talk and I'm a little nasally, but anyway, here it is. So opening encounter, pretty self-explanatory. We're going through and you're just seeing me use the crystals to my advantage as much as possible. The only real threats in here are the wizards. The thrall, all of them die with just one shatter. It's really overpowered for ad control, this build, up until probably legend or master level. Like the shatters just do insane amounts of damage. You can clear out entire rooms. It's almost like war mine cells all over again. But yeah, we're just going through and I'm just doing this. I'm going to cut to the end where it actually breaks through. Actually, editor's note, I'm going to cut through to the first little encounter there. So watch out for those plates that you don't actually step on them. They will instantly kill you. I'm not going for flawless because the Sparrow run in this dungeon is brutal. I cannot get through it on my first attempt, and I'm not going to keep running hour and a half to get it. I may at some future point, but right now there's a lot of other videos I want to get out, like these primary only challenges, because first, they're a lot of fun, and second of all, y'all really seem to be liking them, so that's that. So you go through, easy way to deal with the Shrieker, you come back around, you underneath, shoot him, freeze him, tap him once, and then the second time. The shatter damage almost kills him, and then that second little jump shot, he is dead. Easy, quick cleanup, y'all probably know this dungeon by now. It's a fun challenge, it definitely is. If you were using a heavy weapon, the bosses would go down a lot easier. When it comes to like survivability and killing off these massive amounts of ads, it's a cakewalk. Like, perfect example right here, it doesn't matter if there were 80 ads right there or 3, it would destroy them, and you'll see later on, you can just clear the entire room with shatter damage. It's so great. Here's pretty easy, you go around, I take care of these two right away, they don't respawn, so they're gone. Kill the wizard, come over, unlock the first door, and then I'm gonna leave in the next one, even though it's scuffed, just because that way you kind of get an idea, in case you haven't done this yet, of what to do. You will see I have a sword for the majority of this playthrough, up until about halfway through the boss. I was using it for movement because it's not damage, so it was just, you know, to try and get this done quicker, because I've spent a while trying to get this one down. It wasn't actually easy at all. But the problem I ran into is on the Ogre boss, I kept getting thrall kills accidentally with the sword, so I'll even leave one in and show you. Just, it makes me jump off the map, I get so frustrated. But anyway, yeah, we're going through here, killing off these acolytes. I'm just showing you where they are. Here's a great example. You can damage him through that wall. That's how big the shatter damage is. Through that wall, he was getting hit. Don't forget to dodge the barrel here. It will come down and will kill you. Easy little off to the left. And yeah, you know, it's interesting. It's not as strong as the Strand build that I had, but it's definitely good. Like, it's definitely in there where you could have a lot of fun with it. I was having a ton of fun through this whole thing up until the Sparrow part, because god do I hate that. And I also want to say, through this transition right here, you know, thank you everyone. The videos have been getting amazing support. Just continue to smash that like button, you know, leave comments. I love all the subs coming to my channel. Don't be afraid to like recommend anything. I'm very open. I'm trying to grow and eventually get out of having to do a normal full-time job and make more content for y'all, because y'all do seem to be enjoying it. And back to the video here, you'll see just the Stasis cleaning up everything. I'm going to go through and do like one damage rotation with Frisia, the Ogre. I'm just going to call him the Ogre. The biggest thing to note on here is just watch out your timer for when you pick these things up. They can despawn, and if you accidentally pick one up and don't think about it, it can wipe you if you're going for solo flawless, or, you know, if you're almost done. And also watch out for the hip fires. I did it there by accident and wasted a crystal. Not the end of the world, but it definitely is helpful to have those. God, it's... how do I put this? This was probably like the second hardest challenge I've ever done. I don't know if I'll recreate the first one. I wasn't even recording back then for it. but it was basically a subclass only with no primary weapon. That was unbearable. And then I tried doing one with only seasonal weapons. Man, that was a hard one. I might try to go back and finish that challenge for y'all though. But yeah, so here we are. I'm running it down. I'm just showing you a quick little rotation. I'm putting the crystals in. It's not that it's hard, but right here you'll see, yeah. So I have to keep my word and restart this whole encounter because I accidentally got a throw kill. Not loving it. So going back, I redid the whole thing. Here's me finishing it off. Boom. And now it's time for boss DPS. Start off with the grenade. As he walks through, they're all going to shatter, and then freeze, shatter, freeze, shatter. I was actually wasting my super here because you'll see that little, that stasis tracker will come back around to him 3 times before it stops. And that's 2 extra shatters I could be getting without having to use the heavy shatter, or the one that actually freezes him. It's not bad. It took like 5 to 6 runs depending on how many Verglass shards I had. But yeah, you can see like just it chunks him with these shatters. It's great. He charges you here, but it's really not that hard. And boom, there he goes. Exotic gauntlets for the win. Now, when I say I hate this next part, I cannot explain to you how much I can say this. I hate this next part. I die over and over again to this Sparrow race. It is unbearable. So I'm gonna, just leave this first run in. As you can see, it's not like I can't get to the bombs. It's not like I'm completely incapable of playing. No, I consider myself above average, like especially being able to go through dungeons solo, only primary, and the only one I haven't flawless so far is this one, but it's because of this part. It is just unbearable to me. It's so bad. But yeah, it's pretty easy, but it's just the last one. I don't know if it's because I'm doing this on Xbox or what it is, but that last jump, I can never, and I mean never make it. It's like 1 out of 5 attempts that it'll make, and I'm gonna leave a couple of my deaths in here for the fun of it. I hate my life. You'll see how close I come. Here we go. And then finally, out of the clear blue, it happened. When I say that I spent over 30 minutes trying to do this part and failing continuously time after time because of that last jump, I was about to quit. I was really about to give up on this challenge, and then it finally it happened. It came through and went smooth. I got a revenge kill on that Drake who actually managed to kill me by blowing up my Sparrow in a previous run, which felt amazing. And we got to it. We came down to sea here. God, I couldn't tell you how nervous I was getting. It was just unbearable. Got through it though, barely took any damage. It felt like a good run. Coming through, these 3 guys could absolutely destroy, but also miss them entirely. The turn came through so smooth right there. I tilted back a little bit on the controller, and look at that, didn't even flip. I was worried about dying right here, but Frost Pulse coming in for a win. Look at that. I honestly didn't think I could do it. Alright, so the next part is the Fallen Shield. It's really not that hard of an encounter. It's all ads, which this build is just absolutely disgusting with. It mows them down like no tomorrow. This is a crazy ad build with some decent DPS options, especially in the burst department. But yeah, just going through here, you kill the ads, you pick up the engrams, you take down the servitor shield, and then you take him out, you push it into the man cannon, and you shoot at the Fallen Shield, and that destroys that section. There's no boss DPS, nothing like that. It's not crazy. I'm going to show you one rotation just so you can see it, and then I'm just going to go to the final boss, because it is really like the easiest thing in this entire dungeon is this encounter. It's a cakewalk. Cakewalk, yeah, I can't even speak. Anyway, I'm going to let it play out. Y'all enjoy. And here we are. There are some small things that I learned in this that if you're going to attempt this are a huge help. First of all, farming out your super is not a terrible idea. The shank and the invisible little vandal there are a pain in the butt, but the biggest one is the shank. You can use the scorch cannon that the vandal drops that you need to shoot to begin with to open up the doors, so I'm not considering that challenge failed. But the other easy thing, which I'm going to leave in a small tidbit of it, and you have to aim way above his head so it doesn't curve to the boss, but if you freeze him and pop it, it does 100 and almost 24,000 damage, which is enough to 2 to 3 pop, depending on how low his health was to begin with. You don't see me get it here, but I'm just showing you, like, that was one burst, it took it down by that much. So you just go through, you shoot with the cannons, you kill the ads as you go, which you just cycle between your stasis grenade, your glacier grenade, and your verglass curve. You just constantly are going between the two. The ads aren't going to live very long at all. You get your 10 to 20 if you can do both. You go in the middle, and all of your stuff refreshes. When you get 10, you get your super, your class, your grenade, and your melee. So it's basically free to cycle this, just not when it comes to the boss. So there, that's what it's like. And here's the damage phase. I scuffed this one a little bit too, but it's not bad. It's like a 5 or a 6 phase, but it was really calm. I didn't have to worry about killing myself. No crazy swap strategies, nothing. Like, if I was going in there with like a dragon's breath and then using my super or something, it would have been even better. But I mean, look at that burst. It's pretty good for 2 grenades and a super. Look at that. Got him down to the S. I'll take that. That's solid for solo. And then here you go. I'm just skipping right ahead. It was the same thing more and more and more again. And now here's the final damage phase, just so you can see the kill, which felt great after being in here so long. And I almost scuffed it by getting booped off the map. I would have been very mad at that. Don't get close to him, by the way. But yeah, there you see it cycling back around, getting the free freezes, and there is the kill. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoy, and I'll catch y'all in the next time. Peace!